Hello everyone, and welcome to another fabulous day of NGS action. For any of you that knew about yesterday's game, I do apologize for missing it. Completely 100% my fault. I had the wrong time written down, and I am in the middle of a move, and I had some errands I had to do that day. I already set up the appointments, and I realized a little bit too late, so I do apologize for that, but with that being out of the way, instead, let us talk about today's first matchup of today's doubleheader. Team Happy Cloud versus Inting for Globes in the Heroic Division. Now, let's take a look at the standings. Assuming it does work. I mean, Inting for Globes, by far number 1, 27 points. And then Team Happy Cloud. I believe they're currently middle of the pack. Let's just let this cycle its way through. And yeah, they are currently in 8th place with 16 points. So they're still playing fine. I mean, the middle of the pack for the Heroic Division is incredibly close. So could have been in 4th place with just one extra map win. You never know how these things go. The map picks have already been done. Now, Inting for Globes won the coin toss, and they decided to go for map pick instead. So, Inting for Globes banned away Brax's holdout on Dragonshire. Team Happy Cloud banned away Sky Temple and Towers of Doom. And Inting for Globes, they pick Alterac Pass. And that's going to be the first map of the day. Now, I just got word that the final member will need 5 more minutes before they can get started. So, yeah, we'll be a little bit of time, so don't worry too much about that. Yeah, but either way, and huge shout-outs to Omster, by the way. Thank you so much for filling in last night. If that game ended up not being cast, I would have felt terrible. My original plan was, if no one could pick it up, I would have done the replay for it, because it is unfair for everyone if we do grab or if I do grab a cast and then I'm not able to do it. I really hate when that happens. I believe that's the first and only time I've done that. But actually, they said 5 minutes, but the player's already there. We're already through the ready check, and we should be getting started in game number 1 very shortly. And on top of that, I would also like to acknowledge we have the new sponsor today for the Tokubi stream, Legend of Mushroom. Click the panel down below, type !mushroom in chat, and just by installing the game, you're helping support this stream. So be sure to check that out, and depending on how much time we have between the two series, I'll show you a little bit about the game itself. But yeah, and with that, the t-shirt challenge is still ongoing. So if you want to use up your points, you want to put them in towards that t-shirt giveaway. It is still available. We're still going to be running that. Don't you worry. I did just remove that from the title. But the giveaway is still very much on the way, and it's still very much happening. And now they're baiting me because how they want to try and swap the hat, but I'm not even sure what's going on anymore. I'm just going to talk about how the league's going because we are very far into the season at this point. Now, this is actually one of the flex games for the Heroic Division. This isn't one of their main games. So each of these two teams should still be playing at least one more game this week. And it's interesting just how close some of these divisions are starting to look. It started to look very close on the side of Heroic, especially B East, B West, just all of that stuff. And I'm really excited for playoffs to start. I love doing best of 5s especially. I think once last season I ended up casting 2 best of 5s back to back. That was a lot of fun. We'll see if I can do that again this year. Typically when the playoffs start, all the casters that kind of stop casting in the middle of the season, they come back up. But I'll definitely make sure to keep trying to snag some games. And as another update while we're doing that, I also did end up taking a paid casting position Wednesday nights. So I will likely be doing less Heroes of the Storm. It is earlier in the day, so there is still a chance if there's an 8 p.m. Pacific start or something like that, I would be able to do that. But only single cast, definitely would not be able to do double cast. So if I'm missing on Wednesdays, that's why. It starts next week, so this week I'm still going to be casting. I think I'm actually set up for a double cast basically every single day this week. Today, yes. I haven't even picked up a game for tomorrow. Let me just refresh, make sure I'm not stealing anyone's games. Yeah, okay. I just picked up another match for tomorrow. It's just going to be an individual one. And then, yeah, so I will be casting basically every single day again this week. Flex, I've earned a thank you. But yeah, so the way it's been working right now, I mean, some of you may know this, some of you may not, but I actually do cast League of Legends games as well. And I do both color casting and play-by-play. And I've been doing it every other Saturday. And then technically it was supposed to start this week, but I only found out today they wanted me to. And I'm like, I'm already booked for this Wednesday night. Can I start next week? And they're like, yeah. We'll find you a fill for the first week. Well, yeah, okay, so we are still waiting on that 10th player. That was just Ace Diamond baiting us, as per usual. Okay, now the true 10th player has joined up. Now all 10 players are in the lobby. And hopefully that does mean we'll be getting started shortly. Paid to cast sounds like a dream for a side gig. I mean, it's a lot of fun, genuinely. But I think the best part for me, it's not even that it's paid. It's that it's managed. I don't have to deal with stream titles. I don't have to deal with production. They do everything for me. They just show me the screen and tell me to talk about it. It lets me focus more on the actual cast. I don't need to look at chat. I don't need to do any of that other stuff. Most of the time, I don't even have chat open. I just focus entirely on the game. It definitely improves the quality of it a little bit as well. And yeah, and it's been fun because I've met a lot of really fun people through there. Boo. What are you booing? You're trying to clean up the old replay casts? Yeah, no, I've seen that. You're going absolutely nuts on them. I think you've already done like 18. You've done like what? Yeah, 18 casts for the last like 2 weeks. But either way, we're finally getting started. We're finally in game. Or we're finally in the draft, I should say. But yeah, All Track Pass is going to be the first map. And I actually haven't discussed the map. I usually do that a little bit earlier. And the way this map primarily goes is it's a very tall map. Globals are very important. And then having someone else that's also able to take control of the camps. The prisoner camps, I should say, not the neutral camps. Solo is actually a really big boon overall. Because you, especially when you bring someone in like the Samuro, could just pull away with the different clones. You have a Nubarak who can distract them with the Scarabs. And then you can get started immediately onto the camp. And it lets you have a longer channel time. But either way, Inting for Globes banning away the Hogger first. Johanna going to get banned by Team Happy Cloud. The Junkrat will be banned by Inting for Globes as well. And one final ban is still coming out. Sorry, I'm just a bit distracted here. I'm not going to lie. The Horde versus Alliance. Yeah, that is how it should be. I'm wondering who's going to end up coming out on top here too. I mean, Inting for Globes, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. They're probably the best team in Heroic. Definitely top 3. And I don't think anyone in the Heroic Div would ever argue against that. But Team Happy Cloud going to ban out the Oriole. And Vala going to get locked in for Chrisinator. But having said that, I do think Team Happy Cloud can definitely put up a fight. I think they can definitely take a map off of Inting for Globes. I think the labels are switched. You are right. However, it is not the labels that are switched. It's the teams that have done the wrong sides. Yeah, give me one moment. You are completely correct. Dahaka going to get locked in for Concept, and Maiev going to lock in, or going to be locked in by Storm Brandon. Rhaegar for R275 Delta, and Rob on the Blaze for Team Happy Cloud. As of now, set them up properly. And I also forgot to do the predictions. I'm all over the place today. Okay, team Happy Cloud. All right, but the predictions have started, so be sure to do it. The switch sides button is so pog. It really is. I still don't know why teams don't like being on their correct sides. It does make it a bit more annoying, especially when you're like me and you don't really pay attention until you start casting some of the names and you're like, that doesn't seem right. But yeah, Diablo gonna get banned away by Inting for Globes, just trying to further remove that front line, and Team Happy Cloud gonna ban out that Draft Breaker Sergeant Hammer. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want anyone to pick that on the side of Inting for Globes. And frankly, with Vala, Rhaegar, Blaze, they are very short range. Sergeant Hammer would have absolutely been an incredibly valuable pick. But Fuzz gonna lock in the Muradin, and Cav Kivar gonna lock in the Stukov. They do have pretty solid kill thread going on there. As now the last two picks are going to be coming through for Team Happy Cloud. They still need a frontliner, and they do have opportunity for a flex. And very specifically, I am curious who they're going to pick for their flex. They're going to pick Uther for Fade. So they do have that double heal composition, and Imperious locked in for Drinking Bird. Okay, I like this. Kind of a triple frontline with the Blaze, Imperious, and Uther. And then with the double heals as well with Rhaegar and Uther. It's going to be a pretty solid composition. I think it does give them a lot of opportunity during these team fights. Going to be interesting to see how both these teams do decide to play here. And now the 10th pick was still there for Inting for Globes. And I'm trying to think what they really need. I think they, Sylvanas. They definitely needed a little bit more consistent DPS. I mean, Maiev has a little bit of damage. Muradin and Stukov surprisingly can deal decent bits of damage, same with Dahaka, but you still need someone that's just constantly out front DPSing. Sylvanas definitely fulfills that role and will also help them in team fights. They have a lot of silence between the Stukov and Sylvanas and the Dahaka, really. They just have a lot of silences on their team. And into a double heal, silences work great. But with that, we're heading into game number 1. All right, and welcome back. We are loading into game number 1, Alterac Pass between Inting for Globes and Team Happy Cloud. So now I'm trying to think about how these team fights are going to end up going. I mean, obviously, Inting for Globes are going to try and get those pickoffs. Whenever you have the Maiev, you have the Drag, you have the Umbral Bind, you have lots of different ways of trying to pull people back in, kind of repositioning them and then slowly but surely picking them off. Now that does get a lot harder because of that double heal composition coming out from Team Happy Cloud. They do have those cleanses. Both Fade and Delta are likely going to get their cleanse. And then on top of that, there's also going to be just the raw health and the potential D shield coming out of Fade later on. So going to be interesting to see how these two teams try to adapt to these different strategies. And Chris Nader did go Creed of the Hunter. There's a bit of a trade happening over the bot side. They have the Lurking Arm for the silence, but it is going to be 275 Delta and Drinking Bird, so they will be fine. And right now, Team Happy Cloud, they're just kind of standing in the middle, trying to kind of show that they can play on two sides. Brandon trying to back away. Chris Nader DPSing pretty hard, but the Umbral Bind is going to pull back Chris Nader. The cleanse was almost there in time, but Brandon still going to go down. First blood going over to Team Happy Cloud. I mean, it was a good attempt. I mean, Chris Nader definitely got outplayed a little bit. Same with R275 Delta, but just the raw DPS coming out from that Vala was more than enough to take down the Maiev. Maybe overextended just a little bit too much after the play. Was confident after they forced Chris Nader to take, I think it was 3 or 4 cannon tower hits. Now both teams going to get started on their camps. Chris Nader and R275 Delta going to be able to take out their siege camps. Brandon and Cav Kavar going to take out their own for the side of Inting for Globes. And both camps are taken within a few seconds of each other, but right now there's a decent push happening over in the bot lane. Fuzz and Juan Pablo had a little bit of a push going through. And now Inting for Globes are trying to get priority over in the mid lane. And I think the idea is to try and quickly take down the siege camp and then try and use their own for a little bit of a push. As Crusader's trying to walk forward, and the two healers are going to be there now. And this Vala is definitely going to end up being the hyper carry for this squad. They definitely need the Vala to be the hyper carry. But when you have double healer, you can definitely do that. Umbral Bind will pull them back a little bit. Faye taking a decent bit of damage from Juan Pablo as well. But again, with the double heals, it shouldn't be too big an issue. They'll be fine. As now Fuzz pinging onto Drinking Bird, but Drinking Bird gets the call from the rest of the team that they are on their way to the bot lane. And now the push can commence. Black Arrow is going to get utilized here as well, just for that extra little bit of damage. It's not going to deal too much to the wall, but every little bit adds up, as Fuzz is going to be matching the rotation, trying to make sure that they're not going to be able to get in freely onto the DPSs. Juan Pablo hit with the Celestial Charge as well. Juan Pablo is going to survive with just 20 HP. Okay, that's actually a bit crazy. Chris Nader able to get Juan Pablo down so low, and just that one extra auto from any of them would have gotten them that kill. Calculated. That's what I'm going to call that. Ending for Globes, they knew exactly what they were doing. Juan Pablo calculated every little bit of damage just to help waste their time. That's what I'm going to call that play anyway. But again, Chris Nader and Fade going to get the priority over in the mid lane as both teams once again clearing out their siege camps. This time, Ending for Globes going to take theirs a little bit earlier, but again, just the difference of a couple seconds, not really going to matter. Now, Fade and Chris Nader going to push out the top lane, but the rotation from Rob trying to get to mid lane is going to get interrupted a little bit, but R275 Delta is here. The mid priority does go to Ending for Globes to start the play. And they have a pretty solid wave stacking up as well as they are clearing out the siege camp. Now, Fade trying to trade a little bit with Brandon. Will get healed by the chain healing. But the Uther is going to get taken down at least to a third HP. But again, with the double heals, without the Sylvanas there, it's definitely a lot more complicated and a lot more difficult to try and take down the heals. But now they're looking for the play. Fade going to get hit by the Stormbolt and will get finished off. Juan Pablo had more than enough damage for this, but now Celestial Charge lands on a 2. Brandon is pretty low. Bob is there as well. Another Celestial Charge. They get one. Cap Kavar going to follow. And now Fuzz is alone in the middle of everyone. Dwarf Toss will buy a little bit of space. But they have the slow. They have the totem. Jet propulsion as well. And it's a 3-for-1 for Team Happy Cloud. And they're looking really good right now. No Concept sees Chris Nader, but will be able to just back away, trying to get a little bit of that channel. And Chris Nader's really DPSing into Concept. Way more damage than I expected. And forces out the stasis. Buys enough space as Delta will be able to lock it in. And now Brandon actually went through. I don't think that's what they intended. They will be getting taken down. With the Celestial Charge coming out, they have so much extra DPS. They have so many more players up there. And this should be a pretty free prisoner camp for them. Now, Ending for Globes, they're going to just back away. They're going to try and at least delay the mid lane one by taking their siege camp. But a lot of good plays back to back for Team Happy Cloud. They're going to start getting their advantages built back up as they do look to take down this mid lane wall as well. Chris Nader already at 72 stacks, so doing pretty well on that regard, but is going to get jumped now. But we'll be able to just vault away to safety. Fade and Delta are there if anything does happen. So not too much to worry about. But now the push is going to be coming through into all 3 lanes. They're not sending anyone to defend into the bot lane, at least not yet. Brandon going to start roaming down. But the real push seems to be happening over in this mid lane. That's where they are bringing 4 of their members. Drinking Bird trying to walk top, but Fuzz just trying to get in the way as much as possible. Celestial Charge not going to land. And the heroic abilities are now available for both these two teams. And now, I don't even know why I'm watching this fight. It's just a lot of fun watching. Fuzz getting hit, but now they do have the Wrath of the Angiris. And Celestial Charge is available, but not able to pull it out in time. Will get hit by the forts. Down to 200 HP, so pretty big win coming out of Team Happy Cloud there. As now the mid lane is being pushed in. They have 2 people trying to defend on the top side for Ending for Globes. So they will be able to take down the wall. They'll get a little bit of extra poke damage as well onto the fort. Not too much, but every little bit adds up in the end, like I always say. But now Crusader in a pretty bad spot, actually. Fuzz looking for the play as well, but they are regrouping. Crusader just on the wrong side of the map. Vaulting away, the Ancestral Healing will come out, but Drinking Bird also getting low. But Rob gonna be there with the Jet Propulsion. And now the real fight's happening over on this top side. And it will be them trying to chase down Drinking Bird. Storm Brandon gonna get hit by the Hand of Justice. And with the Emerald Bind, able to pull them back. But Crusader still alive, still autoing, and will get healed up in time. Now Fuzz kind of in the middle of everyone, but the D-Shield does come out. Fuzz will be the first to go, and they will take down Brandon as well. Celestial Charge just on the tip lands on a Cav Kivar, and that's going to be a 3-0 coming out of Team Happy Cloud. And now Crusader gonna go right back up to that top lane. There's a massive wave waiting for them. And Team Happy Cloud just out team fighting Inting for globes this time. And I mean, they're looking really good. That double heal composition's really being a pain for Inting for globes. Crusader was definitely in a bad position to start that fight, but because of the double heal composition and because of the trust that Crusader had with their healers, they're able to just play it out, play it back, and once they get healed back up, they can just get right back into the fight, and that's exactly what they did. Now Crusader is going to be trading a little bit with Fuzz, but Fuzz is pretty strong right now, but Crusader slowly stacking up, and Fuzz actually going to get low. Avatar has to get popped. Rain of Vengeance will be enough, and that's just going to be a kill going over for Team Happy Cloud. Now Brandon and Cav Kivar are here on the top side, but that's going to be extra stacks going over to Crusader, extra kills, and I don't believe Crusader's gone down yet. Yeah, it's still at 0 deaths, so full value from that Gambit is still around. And now, again, just trading on to Brandon. And Justice not going to be able to land the stun. Now, there is a pretty big wave with the Siege Minions pushing in for Ending for Globes. Celestial Charge is going to land on a concept, but just going to be more of an annoyance, more of a deterrent. And again, a little bit of damage onto the wall, nothing too substantial. But until any of these two teams are able to take down a fort, it's still going to be more or less even. Now, level 13 is hit by both sides. And if for Globes finally able to get it, Celestial Charge gets dodged away by Brandon. But now the camps are available. It is an even talent tier, so there is a slight stat boost for Team Happy Cloud, but this is definitely something that Inting for Globes can look to fight. But it doesn't look like they want to fight it because Fuzz and Concept, they are currently taking the boss over in this top lane. And I don't think Team Happy Cloud would be expecting this because, I mean, Brandon's over here. They see Juan Pablo over in the mid lane. Will just be the containment disc used for that extra space just to buy a little bit more time. As now the boss will finally officially go down, and the camp will start getting cleared by the side of Team Happy Cloud. But it's going to get answered back just from the minions because Juan Pablo is also really pushing into this mid lane. And we'll use the Haunting Wave, trying to bait them with it. And we'll just mount up. A Drinking Bird sees Juan Pablo. Fuzz is here, so is Concept. So there is some safety up in this top side. They should be able to save Private Juan Pablo. And they will be able to. And now they could look towards Fade as well. Now they have the Wailing Arrow. Will land the silence. Now Fade still in the middle of everyone. Jet Propulsion does land though. And the Hand of Justice, Cav Kivar, getting hit by the stun. Getting hit by the silences. And is just going to get taken down. Now Fuzz is the next person they're chasing. But in the meanwhile, Wrath of Anguirus into Concept. Drinking Bird not going to be able to get that kill. But Fuzz still trying to get away. Crusader has more than enough damage. Avatar does get popped. But in the end, it doesn't matter. It's still going to be a kill going over for Team Happy Cloud. A 2-0. However, they did lose their top lane fort due to the help of that boss. It does go down now to the forts. Or sorry, to the bot lane wall. But the prisoner camp is getting channeled once again by Team Happy Cloud. Yeah, and it's been a pretty interesting game because Inting for Globes, I think they have been playing a little bit better macro-wise. But in terms of the team fights, Team Happy Cloud, they're just winning every single fight. Even when they are on even talents. Like right now, they do have that level 16 talent advantage. And with the cavalry coming in, they could try and push that advantage in. As the final channel will be completed. And the cavalry will be on the way. Now, it is 15.5. So Inting for Globes, they could still try and soak up just a little bit more. Brandon looking for Drinking Bird. Concepts there as well. And the containment disc is going to get popped. What else do they have? The Lurking Arm. And the D-Shield is going to be able to just keep Drinking Bird alive. But that is still a pretty major cooldown used. Containment Disc is a very short cooldown. But D-Shield is 85 seconds, I believe, 85 or 90. But either way, the cavalry have arrived. They have the siege camps as well, and Team Happy Cloud looking to push down this mid lane. Now Fuzz is in the back lane. They have the pull onto Fade. They have the silence, lurking arm, wailing arrow, and Concept. It has the isolation as well. Drinking Bird just getting hit by everything. Fade's gonna get healed up, but Drinking Bird will be the first to go down. Now Chrisinator getting run down. They're trying to keep him alive, but Brandon will be able to get the kill. And now Rob is trying to fight everyone off. Jet Propulsion just used to build some space. Containment is gonna be used onto Rob. And now, do they look for more? Rob is kind of in a bad spot. Will use that speed boost. And will get pulled back with the Emerald Bind. But the Blaze is just too tanky, especially with Delta and Fade behind him. But during all that, the bot lane forward goes down. The mid lane forward still got taken down. And the top lane forward also taken very low. But one big thing for Inting for Globes is they finally managed to win a team fight. And most importantly, they took down Chrisinator. And Chrisinator had those stacks, had those Gambit stacks. Will lose one, so it's going to be that 20% bonus attack speed instead of the 25. Now, this Vala is still very powerful. Already hit 150 of the stacks, so that's going to be 3% more damage with every stack of Hatred. So that's going to be a very, very strong Vala. Scaling incredibly well into the game. As now the next boss also gets finished off by Inting for Globes. Now Drinking Bird able to find Fuzz. They have the stuns, and they just have so much lockdown between the Jet Propulsion, between the Hand of Justice. Fuzz just couldn't move, couldn't even pop the avatar, though it was on cooldown anyway. But the Black Arrows have been utilized over in this mid lane. They are trying to take down this fort. At the very least, they got it down to 50% HP. Containment Disc lands on a Fade, but Brandon going to be in a bad spot, and again, with those chain stuns coming out of Team Happy Cloud, they're just able to find someone and just pick them off. As long as one of their abilities lands, they're going to be able to chain everything together. And that's especially more true because the healer, Cap Kavar, is on Stukov. Stukov that's probably the main negative part about locking in the Stukov. There's no cleanse in the kit. So at no point can they do that. The best they can do is use the Lurking Arm to try and buy a bit more space, try and prevent someone from using their abilities. But it's not going to be able to remove the stuns. It's not going to be able to prevent the lockdown. As Team Happy Cloud, they're really starting to play forward. They're going to steal away the siege camp as well. And now they can start pushing up into this mid lane, start DPSing onto the walls. As Crusader even starting to play a little bit aggro. But again, with double healer, you can do that. Crusader knows they have D-Shield behind. They kills a lot of damage from Juan Pablo. As we do have the pause coming out. Let me just see what's going on. Yeah, one of the players DC'd, so probably will be at least a short pause. So in the meanwhile, we'll say thank you to Aurelius511, GM Psycha, and Shadow Techer for following this stream. I always make sure to do the thank yous once we're not live, just because the true focus should always be on the game and on the players. Yeah, hopefully this won't be too long a pause, but I mean, Team Happy Cloud, they're really performing today. They're really performing right now. They're starting to really take control of the map. They've been winning every single team fight, but having said that, Inting for Globes, they're really not that far behind in terms of XP. Obviously, you can't see it right now. We do have a rule that if we're in a pause, I have to remove the map from play. There's maybe like 10 to 15% of a level worth of XP difference right now. And if anything, Inting for Globes, they're actually pretty even in terms of all of their, in terms of all of the structures down. Inting for Globes still have their top fort alive, and Team Happy Cloud still have their mid fort alive. So it's pretty even in that regard. Now, Team Happy Cloud definitely has the pressure on the map, and with that, they will get agency. So I think having that agency, if they're able to utilize it to try and slowly choke the map out, like we saw, they already stole the siege camp. They are way past the middle line, so they could start looking towards the prisoner camp as well. And I think with that third push, they should be able to take out the remaining fort and maybe even force a fight off of it. They're starting to get pretty close to level 20. I don't know if they'll be able to get it much earlier than Inting for Globes, but there will be a little opportunity for a power spike for them. And if they're able to take advantage of it, I think it could go pretty far. Now, no other updates yet before the, how do I say this? For the pause, but should be coming up shortly. And it looks like they are ready to go, so we'll be heading right back in the game. Perfect. All right, let's get back to the game the way we should be. So now they did break down the wall over in the mid lane. Team Happy Cloud, they're very happy with this, but Concept, massive push in the top side, took down the entire top lane wall. So, and like I was saying, Inting for Globes, they're not falling behind in terms of map play. And in fact, with this pressure, they know they forced them all back. They're just going to use their black arrows, and they're just going to take the mid lane forward. They're actually ahead in structures, despite being down 13-3 in terms of kills. And like I've been saying earlier, that's really what where Inting for Globes, where they really shine. They're really solid at the macro play. They know their limits. They know what they're allowed to take. And a lot of the time, if you're not matching it perfectly, they're going to take more upon each of those trades. But now the boss is getting started, but this time it is scouted out. Rob sees it, and the entire side of Team Happy Cloud, they're starting to move up to this top side. Level 20 has been hit as well. Containment Disc is going to land onto Fade, but they will be able to push them off the boss. The boss will regen, as the Storm Talents are there for Team Happy Cloud. And actually, it's going to be Acrobat coming out for Cryptonator. And now they are looking towards the prisoner camp, and they will be able to start the channel. But level 20 is now going to get hit, as the team fight could be starting. Fade gets hit low. Wailing Arrow as well. Now Jet Propulsion will find the stun, but not going to be able to save Fade. So it is 1-0 so far. But they have the Ancestor healing over top, and Rob will be healthy again as Crusader trying to jump on a Cap Kavar and will survive for now, as Rob still trading with everyone. Cap Kavar will go down. No more healer left for Inting for Globes. Brandon trying to run away. Crusader trying to chase, but won't be able to find the distance. Now, Wrath of the Anguirus able to pull back Fuzz. Avatar will get popped, but they're definitely slowly but surely losing the fight. The Emerald Bind not going to be able to pull them back over the wall. But there's also a big push happening in the mid lane during all of that as well. They're going to lose a good chunk of their mid lane keep, as Fuzz just trying to get in the way. Celestial Charge not going to land from Drinking Bird, as Cryptonator able to just get a little bit of those extra stacks. Past 200 now. So that's going to be that extra 4% damage per hatred stack. I mean, that's just absolutely nutty, because you can get up to 10 stacks. That gives so much more DPS in these team fights. And now with that, they are shoving out the top side. They have the waves. This mid lane keeps pretty low as well, but they still haven't been able to fully get onto it. But Celestial Charge will land Giant Propulsion as well, and Fuzz just getting burst down. The vaults from the Acrobat are coming through, and Fuzz will be the first to go. Brandon won't be able to continue the fight, but they're still going to be able to get that pick. Fuzz is not going to be there for this defense now, and they have this massive push coming out with all of the the Wrath of the Anguirus almost hit onto Juan Pablo by Drinkerbird, but mid lane keeps already gonna be taken down. Just needs a couple more autos by Crusader, and the cavalry is arriving. They can definitely start pushing out in this bot lane, in this top lane. I mean, this top lane forward should just go down passively. We are already 17 minutes in. These cavalry are really strong. They bring in a lot of DPS. The Caltrops just kind of building a wall right now, and Crusader's just playing so confident. So much trust in the healers to keep Crusader alive. Now the cavalry has finally arrived. Crusader not waiting for them, though, just trying to DPS in spite of it. As Juan Pablo will be able to get the trade a little bit, and they have so much stun. Concept almost goes down, and they do force out the heroics. The Containment Disc has been thrown out by Brandon. Cap Kavar gonna get stunned. They're trying to chase onto it, but won't be able to find too much more, as again Drinking Bird looking for the Wrath of the Anguirus, not able to find it, but the Celestial Charge will go on to Brandon. Brandon forced to jump away, as now Fuzz just building space up in the front, and neither side's able to make a lot of progress in terms of the kills, but they are looking towards Concept, and Fade able to get the stun on it too, but the Umbral Bind bringing so many people back. Concept will survive. Drinking Bird will be the first to go. R275 Delta in a bad spot. Rob trying to buy space for Crystator, where Crystator also in a really bad spot. We'll just use the vaults to get away, as Rob will go down to the back line. Same with R275 Delta. And it's going to be a 3-0 in favor of Inting for Globes. But unfortunately for them, there's not too much left on the map. There will be bosses spawning in bot and top, But they will need to clear out the waves at least a little bit first. And having said that, they clear it out very quickly. So they should be able to take this top boss. And now one thing I am kind of curious about is how far do they want to try and push this boss when they do get it. They still lost their mid lane keep. They're still not doing great in all the other areas. So Christinator going to get started on the bot lane boss. Fuzz is here. It's just going to be Christinator and Fade. Fuzz just gonna get spotted out. They are jumping onto this Murd and already at half HP. And with these vaults, Christinator brings so much damage, dodging onto everything, but still needs a few more autos. Able to land one, able to land two, and Fuzz will be taken down. Now they're looking towards Concept. Concept already at half HP, already used the stasis, but is regenerating up. Brandon's here as well. Containment disc goes wide. Umbral Bind is there. Will get pushed back in. But Christinator just trying to buy some space. Fade also starting to get low. And Christinator dashes in forward, but the Wailing Arrow will land. And Fade able to survive just 200 HP. And now Christinator looking for anyone. But with the slows, with all the CC, they're not going to be able to find anyone else. Fuzz is the only casualty of that play. And with that, there is the big boss pushing out of the top lane. It will get answered in this bot lane for Team Happy Cloud. And this boss is definitely going to be a lot more threatening for the side of Team Happy Cloud. They're willing to give up their top lane keep because with this boss, not only can they get the bot lane keep, but because they've already taken out the mid one, they could, in theory, look to end the game. This could be an opportunity for them to force a fight and start really moving forward with it. But Brandon just going to try to clear away this bot lane to at least a little bit as, again, the boss is dealing damage but will get cleared away. And instead of that, they're actually going to be going for the camp. They want to get another set of the cavalry. Now Rob is going to be trying to match in this mid lane. Massive waves there as well. And both teams are just kind of trying to get into a position where their waves are in a good spot for this push. But now the boss gonna start walking up in this bot lane. Gonna get a few hits off. I think they should be able to clear it out before the keep dies. And they will be able to save it. They will be able to defend into it. It's still very low, the next set of cavalry, unless it's taken out early. We'll definitely be able to do it. But now Concept gets hit by the stun and gets hit with so many stuns, just immediately gets first down. But now Drinkerbird going to get healed back up and will die with the Umbral Bind. But now they do have the bunker. Fuzz starting to get low. Christinator still dealing damage over in this backline. It's 1-for-1 so far. As Rob looking for Brandon, the extendo arm not going to land onto anyone. And with that, it seems Team Happy Cloud, they no longer want to fight. They just want to go right back and get those last few seconds of channel. Rob gonna be the one to do it. Delta trying to heal everyone up, and Christinator starting to get in a bad spot. D-Shield is out now. Christinator could play aggressive. They have the jump propulsion on it too, and they found Juan Pablo, and now Brandon is the last carry still remaining. If they can pick off Brandon, it'll be very good for them with this push. Containment Disc will prevent Rob from following through, but Christinator has the space, dodges out the extendo arm once again, as Brandon tries to get over the wall, but not able to do it. And now it's going to be Fuzz trying to fight against the two healers. As Cap Kivar getting chased down by Christinator and unfortunately doesn't have the DPS to finish it off. But they're already onto the core. They already have the cavalry still on their way. So just trying to get a little bit of extra DPS. Christinator, bit low on mana though. Could be an issue. Actually vaults in forward. Is getting healed up by Fade and Delta. Rob and Christinator both starting to get a little bit low. Just trying to buy space. And with those vaults, with those caltrops, able to provide it. As now the cavalry has arrived. They're all on to the core. And this should be it. Cap Kavar will go down in the end. But Team Happy Cloud, they take game number 1. And what an excellent game coming out of Team Happy Cloud. I mean, they had that solo carry Christinator with the double kills and doubled Juan Pablo Sylvanas. Extremely well played. They performed so well in the team fights. 21-8 in kills. Inting for Globe still made that game entertaining with their macro plays. Almost brought it back with a couple of their fights, but in the end, Team Happy Cloud, they're just team fighting better on Alterac Pass. They pushed their advantage just that slightly bit better. And because of that, they deservedly won game number 1. Now we are going to go to a short break, and when we come back, it'll be game number 2. So don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back, everyone. And like you can see, we are going over to Battlefield of Eternity as my chair is not in the right spot. Can't get it to wheel in the right place. But fun map, a lot of good team fights always come out of BOE. I think we all know it. We all love it. And this time around, they swapped back. Thank you. I guess. Give me one moment. Then I need to swap this to this to this. All right, there we go. Now everyone is back where they should be. But Battlefield of Eternity, we do have the bans coming out already. Vala going to get banned by Inting for globes. They definitely don't want Chris Nader playing that, especially on a map like BOE. Oriole gets banned by Team Happy Cloud, and the Imperius actually going to get banned by Inting for globes. Drinking Bird performed really well. Those Celestial Charges were landing left and right. Definitely started a lot of their picks and a lot of their plays. Diablo going to be the final ban for Team Happy Cloud, and Hanzo immediately going to get locked in for Brandon. So that's going to be a pretty solid pick, pretty solid DPS. Able to engage, able to deal damage way out from afar. Isn't super good at racing compared to a lot of the other picks. Again, like the Vala, that's already been banned out. Li Ming, potentially. And the Greymane for Chris Nader, another good example of a really solid racing hero. It is going to be the new brack for Fade as well. So they have that easy engage. Not the tankiest tank in the game. Ooh, sorry. But is incredibly powerful when it comes to starting team fights, locking people down. But in it for globes, they're going to continue with Fuzz on the Muradin. Except this time, they're going to take away the Blaze for themselves. Not going to give it to Rob. And Concept will be playing that most likely in the offlane. And now the next few bans are going to start coming through. Neither side has picked a healer yet. And because of that, Lucio is going to get banned. And I think Eating for Globes, they could try to pinch out the healers again. And once again, they're just going to ban the Uther. They don't want anyone playing that hero. They did play it on the side of Team Happy Cloud in Game 1 with that double heal team comp, which worked extremely well for them. So I'm always really happy to see that kind of play coming out. And now they still need heals. They still need an offlane. Team Happy Cloud haven't really shown much. Just their racing hero and their main tank. And it is going to be Rob on the Thrall and R275 Delta on the Rhaegar. Picking all the green heroes, it seems. Now, Thrall, I always love Thrall on Battlefield of Eternity. Super good at team fighting, and the main weakness is you can't double soak, and it's a 2-lane map. You never need to. You can just match up into Blaze. I don't think Thrall ever kills Blaze in the offlane. I think, if anything, Blaze might be able to kill Thrall. But even then, I'd be a little bit surprised. I think a lot has to go wrong for that to happen. But Juan Pablo going to lock in the Tychus, and Cap Kavar going to lock in the Anduin. So the racing is going to be not super fast on the side of Inting for Globes. I think their team comp is definitely more based around fighting and defending their own immortal. As Li Ming going to be the final pick for Drinking Bird. And I mean, Greymane and Li Ming are two of the fastest racing heroes in the game. They're going to be able to absolutely decimate the immortal. So Inting for Globes definitely going to have to go with those team fights. With that being said, it's time to head into game number 2. And just as we do, one more thank you to the sponsor of today's stream, Legend of Mushroom. Well, with that being said, we are in map number 1, Battlefield of Eternity, between Team Happy Cloud and Inting for Globes. Team Happy Cloud won game number 1, as I totally forgot to do predictions. We can do a quick one. Okay, 2-minute prediction. Gotta be quick, though. Hopefully before anything else comes out.
10 seconds.
But yeah, it does look like a pretty interesting lane assignment coming out from these two teams, though. Ending for Globes, they seem to be picking two in the top lane. Concept and Juan Pablo going to be playing there. And if it's a 2v1 or a 2v2, I think that's where Rob's really going to start struggling a little bit. Thrall's definitely one of the squishier members. Concept going to be able to scout out Rob. They don't know Juan Pablo's there yet, though. Rob might check, and now the minigun's gonna get used, saving the grenade, and Rob in a bad spot, forced to run away, but able to dash away, but the twin stream lands by Concept in the last little bit. That's gonna be a massive kill, and that's exactly what you want whenever you do play that 2-1 comp. You want to try and get a kill early, you want to try and get value out of it. Now Krishnader trying to roam up top, try and collect some of that missed soak. But really well played. Again, Inting for Globes just playing really well on the macro side of things. They've always been very proficient at that, as Fuzz and Fade just kind of doing a tank battle. And it's important to note, whenever you're trading with a Muradin will always end up winning those trades, regardless of how low you get them. Just because of that trade being able to heal back up. Fade will require a healer to get that HP. Fuzz will not on the Muradin. Now it is 3v3 over in this bot lane, as there's a pretty big trade happening at the top side. As again, now it's going to be Krishnader and Rob versus Concept and Juan Pablo. But with that 3v3 over in this bot lane, that's where their real trades are going to start coming in. And they could be sending more members top, as actually Krishnader are going to get started on the siege camp and should be able to take it down on their own. Fades here as well, so they could even look to start a team fight immediately after. Now they've already taken it, and Juan Pablo, definitely the squishier member, could be in a bad spot, but it's just Rob able to chase onto that for now. Krishnader starting to get a bit low, but they're jumping in with the Worgen build onto Juan Pablo, and with the Impale they'll have more than enough damage for it. And now aiming towards Concept. Krishnader starting to get low as well, but able to just roll away. They don't have a healer, so any damage lands, it will be permanent. Krishnader just trying to dash away, and Concept with a twin stream not able to land, and Krishnader was staying alive for so long, but in the end will get taken down. Now Fuzz still looking towards Rob. Rob is also out of mana. Another Stormbolt, but not going to be able to land because of the Impale, and underneath it, it will be difficult. But now, either way, it's 2-1 overall for Inting for Globes. They do have the advantage. Level 4 now hit by both teams. That's Juan Pablo and Cav Kavar going to take the Bruiser camp for Inting for Globes. And Krishnader and R275 Delta going to be locking in their own Bruiser camp for Team Happy Cloud. And it is Wolfheart level 1 talent, by the way. I don't know if anyone noticed during that team fight. I haven't brought it up yet, but it is going to be the Worgen form build coming through. It's been a lot of fun to watch. I love the new Worgen build. I think it's really good. That 5 extra armor actually does so much. As now the race begins, and Team Happy Cloud, they're definitely the stronger racing competition. But the team fight could be breaking through. Fuzz in a bad spot, but so is Fade, and Brandon able to land the last auto to take that. Now Rob trying to get away, but there's so much slow, so much DPS. Brandon trying to come over top, not even needed, and Delta's going to follow. And that's how Inting for Globes needs to be playing this. They have a much better teamfight composition. They have more lockdown. They have higher HP bars, better frontline. As now Fuzz just trying to get in the way for Drinking Bird. As Brandon and Juan Pablo slowly but surely trying to take down these Immortals. And now they are slower at DPSing it down, but it's always faster when you're actually able to damage it. But now Team Happy Cloud, they're trying to break back in, and it's actually going to be pretty close. And 722 HP. Jet Propulsion lands on a 4, but there's no DPS behind it. Just trying to use it to buy space. And that's actually still a pretty big win for Team Happy Cloud. Getting that shield down to basically nothing. Just one little combo, one little spell from Drinking Bird will be enough to bring it back to even. But now they do have the stun and the chastise as well. Fade just gonna get burst down. I was not expecting them to have enough damage, but the CC layering once again just absolutely perfect from Inting for Globes. And they're gonna be able to get that kill for themselves. Fuzz looking forward, looking for Krishnader, and again they have the chastise to follow. And that will be another kill for them. They still have the talent advantage as well. Now R275 Delta in the middle of everyone. Fuzz will land the Stormbolt, chastise to follow. And this combo is just working super great for them. Fuzz just jumping in at melee range, tosses out the Stormbolt, chastise to follow. And then I believe Fuzz also has the third auto stun. Actually, no, it does not. I decided to go on a different talent tree, but either way, that's going to be the bot lane fort gone. And being able to take the fort with such an early immortal, they're not super tanky, they're not super strong. It's incredible value, especially when you don't have the racing team composition. But almost a 2 full level lead for Inting for Globes now. They're in a really good spot to continue pressing forward in this game. Might even be able to get their level 10s out right as the next immortal spawns. Now both sides are taking siege camps. Concept going to lock in the one on the top side. Crusader going to take the one in the bot side. So there will be a little trade of camps. But again, this top lane fort still getting just hit upon by Inting for Globes. As Fuzz just kind of roaming between the lanes, trying to match this play coming out from Fade. Rob's getting poked down as well. Now it's still level 9 to level 8. But level 10 will be coming through soon. Fuzz looking for the Stormbolt as Fade jumps in, but not able to get too much more out of it. Now Juan Pablo will commandeer the Odin immediately, and they're just going to start using it just for that extra push. They're going to absolutely destroy this top lane fort as well, and they could even keep going at least a little bit for it. The Bruiser Camp is going to be spawning, but only in 30 seconds, so not going to be able to use the Odin for that. But they will be able to take the inside track for this next set of immortals. As Fuzz playing in the back line. The Dragon Arrow does land, but Fade will have that extra cleanse. Now they have the stun. They have a second stun and the Chastise. And again, just the layering with the DPS over top. It's more than enough. Inting for Globes able to get themselves another kill just as the immortals spawn. And they still have to deal with the wave pushing into the top side. It's just really good spot to be in for Inting for Globes. Is level 11 to level 8. Over a 2-level lead now. And now they're just going to be able to freely DPS onto it. You don't need to race if the other team can't even approach the immortals. Now the Bruiser Camp is going to get started by Team Happy Cloud, but Inting for Globes, it doesn't seem like they want to allow that either. They're making sure that it gets reset, and they're just trying to waste as much time as possible. Now they're going to send Brandon and Juan Pablo back just to clear out the rest of the immortals at 5k HP. And the rest of the team, Inting for Globes, they're just going to be in the way. That's their entire job. And in fact, they're going to bring all 5 members here. They do have that heroic talent advantage. They're going to make use of it. And with that, they're going to be able to just steal away this Bruiser Camp as well. And they're just growing their lead. They know exactly where they can be. They know exactly where to be. And they're always there. And that's the most important part. Now with the overkill, they're able to get the immortal. It is going to be going over to the top side, actually, as they do have a Bruiser Camp pushing in through the bottom. So that's going to be pressure coming in for 2 lanes. But now Fade able to jump onto Fuzz, but Leap of Fade gonna be enough to keep Fuzz alive, especially with that Dwarf Toss. But now level 10s are about to get hit by Team Happy Cloud, so they're finally going to match talents. But at this point, they have the level 10s, but Inting for Globes are very close to level 13s. Now, it's definitely better to be down a level 13 than a level 10, but they have the Light Bomb and the Sun Ring as well. Rob's in a bad spot, and Ancestral Healing is coming through, but Fuzz may have gone a bit too deep and will go down. Capkavar was trying to get into the bunker, but not able to. Now Concept is starting to get low as well, and it's a 2-0 for Inting for Globes, as they are still trading back and forth. Rob looking for Brandon, but just with the extra trading back and forth, not going to be able to accomplish too much more. But the Immortal will be able to break the wall, will get a little bit of damage done to the keep, but overall, well defended by Team Happy Cloud. They needed something to at least lower the gap that they find themselves in, and they were able to find just that. Now Brandon already grouping up to the Siege Camp in the top side. May not be able to kill it fast enough, as the entire team of Team Happy Cloud is on the way, and Brandon will just back out to safety. The Inting for Globes will be able to take the Siege Camp in the bot lane, so at the very worst, it'll be an even trade. And for Team Happy Cloud, that is a victory. But Fuzz trying to keep an eye out from behind, looking for Christinator. They have the Stormbolt. They have the Cleanse coming out of time just to save Christinator. Light Bomb's already been used as well, but now 5 strong for Inting for Globes. Rob isn't here. It's 5v4 Talon up. They have the Chastise on it too, and Christinator is still trying to go in, but they're able to take down Faye. They're able to take down Christinator. Rob will be the next target. Scatter Arrow just trying to go out over top. Chastise not going to land either. And Rob with the move speed able to provide so much space, but will still get body blocked by Fuzz. And now Delta, the next target, and will take down to the grenade. coming out of Juan Pablo, as now Drinking Bird also going to get stunned with jet propulsion, but no one's there to follow up. Very long range. And with the bunker, they will have more than enough DPS, more than enough tankiness to be able to take this down. As now Drinking Bird getting hit by the overkill and with the teleport, able to get into a good spot. But now Brandon will get saved, at least for now. But the minions will not have enough damage. That was a close call, though. Again, Inting for Globes just playing so confidently, sometimes a bit too confidently, but frankly, that's how you learn your limits, and they definitely learned from game one how not to push out too far. But either way, 2-level lead now for Inting for Globes. Only 1 keep remaining on the side of Team Happy Cloud. The Immortals have finally spawned, and this could be the last opportunity for Team Happy Cloud to really try and do an aggressive play. They're going to be getting pushed in every wave, so they will need to try and be quick. But unfortunately for them, the spawns for the Immortals are really bad for them. They want to race. They want to be able to freely hit onto the Immortals. But it's so far into the side of Inting for Globes. It's hard to approach. And I mean, Inting for Globes are okay if they approach too, because that's just going to make it an easier team fight to start. It's going to give them more space to continue fighting that team fight. So it's a bit of a catch-22, but now level 13s are going to get hit. Stormbolt lands on a fade. As Fuzz gets hit by the Impale. Just the full combo of Drinking Bird. Not dealing too much damage, though. But with that, Brandon's still able to get at least a little bit of damage over onto the Immortal just with that Stormbow. As now Fuzz could be in a bad spot as well. Still has Dwarf Toss. Capcavar's there as well. And Fuzz actually gets taken out really low, and Leap of Faith has to be burned. But now they have the Cocoon, and they have Juan Pablo. But with the Light Bomb, Fuzz going to be able to prevent the play as Juan Pablo getting jumped upon by Chrisnator, but Chrisnator is alone over the bot side. Now the dogs will land, but Concept just trying to get onto the core in the meanwhile. So if Inting for Globes just keep this fight going and prevent him from resetting, but Chrisnator has already reset. Fade will drop down, though. Drinking Bird lands all the magic missiles on Fuzz, but again, Fuzz just so tanky. Artist 7-5 Delta will get the Ancestor healing to survive. Dragon Arrow gonna get burned. But Artist 7-5 Delta able to back away, at least for now. Now Rob still alive on the backline in a bad spot, though will get stunned. Juan Pablo has more than enough damage. Drinking Bird will follow, as it's another 3-for-0 overall trade in favor of Inting for Globes. And now they're going to find Chrisnator. Chrisnator will also go down, make that a 4-for-0. And they have options. They could keep pushing here. They could take the Bruiser camp. They could start looking towards the Immortals, and they're just really far ahead. 3.5 level lead right now for Inting for Globes. They have their level 16 talents, as Team Happy Cloud just got their level 13s. And now they're going to start pressuring this keep. Chrisnator will be back up in 6 seconds. That is kind of one of their main DPSs right now. Will be difficult to fight with just Drinking Bird. But they have the Cocoon onto Fuzz. Just trying to buy a little bit of time, a little bit of space. But they're not going to buy enough to be able to fight with 5 members. And now with that, Brandon just slowly but surely DPSing onto this Immortal down to 4.5k. And now the teamfight could be breaking through. Concept is going to get stunned. Does get hit by the Curse Bolt, but the Chastise landing as well. The bunker will go down. Sundering will get thrown out, but the Immortal's already gone. And Inting for Globes, they just knew they didn't need to fight. All they had to do is just back away, let Brandon finish off the Immortal, and that's exactly what they did. And now they can regroup. They still have the talent advantage. They still have the level 16s over Team Happy Cloud. And with this Immortal push in the bot lane, they could seriously try and end the game here. They have the talent advantage. They even have a little bit of core damage, and this keep is low. Now Fade will find Juan Pablo, but no follow. But Delta gonna get stunned up by the Dragon Arrow. And now Juan Pablo starting to get low. Same with Fuzz. Light Bomb as well. Will land on it too, and will buy enough space. They're able to take down Delta. And now Rob trying to trade in the front. Fuzz just barely able to get the Avatar out in time, but they were able to. And now Rob in a bad position will get finished off. And that will be another 2-for-0. Chrisnator survives with almost no HP. But the Immortal is still so healthy, and now they're on the core. Fade will follow, and it's a 3-for-0 for Inting for Globes. Drinking Bird Chrisnator almost burns down, as Drinking Bird in a bad spot will get taken down as well. Chrisnator, the final survivor, is just going to try autoing a little bit, but there's nothing Chrisnator can do. It will be a game 2 going to Inting for Globes, and we will have a game number 3. And I mean, there's really not much to say for the post-game analysis. Inting for Globes, they needed to win team fights. They needed to keep control of the Immortals to have their team comp win into Team Happy Cloud. And that's exactly what they did. They knew their win cons and they played to them. Really well played, really well executed by them as well. So now, because of that, we are going to be having that game number 3. Going to go to a short break, and when we come back, we will have that game 3. But before I go, once again, just to remind you all, this stream is sponsored by Legend of Mushroom. If you'd like to help support the stream, the best way is to just watch these games. The second best way is to click the link and give Legend of Mushroom a try. It's an idle RPG. The main mushroom guy, absolutely adorable. And as you've probably seen from the branding on this channel, I love cute things. So it's definitely worth giving it a shot. But now, that being said, we'll go to a break and I'll see you all for game 3 soon. And we are in our third and final draft for this series between Team Happy Cloud and Inting for Globes. The map number 3 going to be Tomb of the Spider Queen. As this time, let me get the prediction out early. And wow, my entire setup's been a mess today. But yeah, final prediction. Going to give the full 5 minutes this time, as the draft is already underway. We had the volley getting banned by Inting for Globes, as And I'm frankly not too surprised about that. That Vala absolutely destroyed them. Christinator performed so well in game number 1. Not surprising to see that removed there as well. Team Happy Cloud will ban away the Junkrat. Super annoying to play with, and it's also really good on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Definitely one of the more valuable heroes you can have here. And Uther gonna get banned again by Inting for globes. And Oriole will be the final ban coming out from Team Happy Cloud. So these are the same bans as the second game. And I think you still gotta give a lot of credit for Inting for globes. Like, they're gonna ban away Christinator's Vala. They're gonna ban away Fade's Uther. They just want to... They know why they lost. They know what heroes they struggled with. And they're just not gonna let them be shown again. Now, I said it was the same bans, though I believe instead of Junkrat, it was a Joanna ban last game. As Joanna will get locked in immediately for Fuzz. And on the side of Team Happy Cloud, Rob gonna lock in the Leoric. And R275 Delta gonna lock in the Lucio. Now, that's a very, very fun pick there. Now, it was banned away in the previous game. I mean, Lucio can provide a lot of value. The high 5, the multiple cleanses. Super good value. Able to get that extra move speed. Able to pick people off with the sound wave. Just so much skill expression can be seen in that healer. And now, waiting for globes. They're going to lock in the Hogger. They're going to lock in the Phoenix for Concept and Juan Pablo. That's a pretty interesting pick. I mean, Phoenix, I've seen it banned a couple times, but to be honest, I haven't really seen it picked too often in this season, really at any tier. But I mean, it's Inting for globes. They definitely know what they're doing, and as usual, I'm happy to see Hogger. Hogger's probably my favorite offlaner in the game. I'll say it. But now the next bans have already come out. Team Happy Cloud banned away the Anduin, and Inting for globes banned the Varian. So it seems like... And I think that might be because of the Anduin ban. It's definitely the best answer into a Varian. So maybe they were considering that, but they banned it so quickly, I think they were going to ban that away regardless. Now, Drinking Bird going to lock in the Chromie. And the tank, the Diablo, going to get locked in for Fade. Now, they still have a lot of those percent HP heroes available to them. If they want to go with multiple frontline, they could even lock in the Melthus. But, I mean, the really big ones, Tykes, are still available. And also Hanzo, if Brandon wants to play that again. And it will just be the Tychus and the Malfurion coming out of Cav Kavar. So that's a really fun and interesting pick as well. I love seeing Malfurions. I am a little bit surprised to see it this game because right now, one thing I'm seeing for Inting for globes is they definitely will struggle a bit with the engage. Very heroic, reliant. They're not going to have any simple way of starting fights. Whereas Team Happy Cloud, they have so many options coming out. Even Chromie and Lucio can do it to some extent. Diablo, obviously, with the Shadow Charge and everything. And the final pick is going to be Hanzo for Christinator. And that's just another option for them to start fights. I'm curious to see how Inting for globes will play this. And, I mean, it's hard not to have faith in them. But I think I will give the draft advantage over to Team Happy Cloud. I think that they have a more consistent draft. They're going to be able to play the game a lot more often. They're not going to be as reliant on those long cooldowns. But either way, this will be the third and final game. Let's see who takes this between Team Happy Cloud and Inting for globes. All right. And we are into game number 3, Tomb of the Spider Queen, between Team Happy Cloud and Inting for globes. Now, this is definitely one of those maps that is quite snowbally. If you're able to take control of this middle section, there's really not too much the other team can do about it. Because once you have control of that, you're going to be able to consistently turn in the gems. You're going to be able to consistently get all of those extra web weavers coming out. You even have access to the boss. But either way, the game is starting. Both teams gonna start grouping up towards this mid lane. Out of interesting talents, it is going to be the Stormbow build coming out of Chrisinator. And we'll immediately poke out Brandon a little bit with it. As how does it even work? You need to hit every enemy here with Stormbow. And now the third one is probably the most important one, getting that extra damage. I think obviously it's going to be nice having that extra range later on as well once they do get all 5 stacks. But I think the damage is definitely the more important part. But now the first move is going to be coming out of Inting for Glows. So now Fuzz going to get taken back. As Brandon just DPSing on a Fade, using that minigun, getting a lot of value for it. Now Rob is in the bot lane, but Juan Pablo and Concept are here together. Will you just use the Wraith Walk to get back to safety? But it is a 4v3 over in this top side. And hopefully with that, Team Happy Cloud will be able to get the priority plays, but Fuzz going to meet back up in the mid lane. Dragon's Breath will help clear it out, and it is the Dragon's Breath build as well. It is the deep breathing. As Fuzz gets hit with the Shadow Charge. And now the Time Trap as well. Stormbow gonna land onto Fuzz. That's all it's really gonna be able to do for now. Just a little bit of trading back and forth as Brandon gonna get autoed as well. And I feel like this thing's bugged because I could have sworn I've seen Stormbow hit like 2 or 3 people. As Rob actually really low. Juan Pablo absolutely destroying Rob in this lane. Now Concept gonna take down the Bruiser camp. Delta and Drinking Bird are working on it as well as over in the top side. They're able to take down Fade. Finding that Diablo early on. And again, Brandon with that. Okay, I'm just not going to be able to find kills. Yeah, you know what? This is fine. But 2-0 already for Inting for Globes. They're going to be able to take the Siege Camp as well. They're just getting a lot of value on the map already. But now Inting for Globes gonna start fighting over in this mid lane. They have the Bruiser camp first. It's already against the wall. So Brandon's just using that overkill, trying to get as much damage to these structures. One final grenade on the way out, but it's already pretty big lead starting to grow. Inting for Globes already a full level lead. And with that Plasma Cutter, Juan Pablo just dealing so much damage to Rob. And now Drinking Bird also going to get hit by the AoE part of that. And now they do have the Hog Wild Concept. No longer going to have that, but there's just no other option to go forward. Delta going to get taken down to 200 HP as well. And Rob just going to get slowly pushed out. I think I understand this Phoenix pick now. Just, it's being such a nuisance and not even just annoying, but also just a massive threat. Now Chrisinator on the wrong side of the team will get hit by the Entangling Roots, and Juan Pablo's there to add the DPS as well, and it's kind of a shellacking to start. 4-0 already. Over a level lead at 3 minutes for Inting for Globes. And now they're going to find Rob again, and Rob has no way out. Going to get hit into the wall with a staggering blow. And will get taken down. Now Delta trying to run away, and luckily is quick, so we'll be able to here. But 5-0 now. Level 7 talents are there, and they do have 50 gems if they want to get that turning. And now they will need Brandon to turn in these last 3. And the Web Weavers are on their way. But again, Juan Pablo and Concept trying to get this pressure over in this bot lane. And I was talking about how this is a bit of a snowballing map, and it's definitely starting to snowball a little bit. As now Fade gets taken down by a third. Chrisinator just getting poked out a little bit. But there are 3 members down here for Team Happy Cloud. They're looking towards Concept. Will be able to push him back, but again, without the extra DPS, Juan Pablo will get traded back by the Sandblast as well. Now Fade looking for Juan Pablo, not going to be able to land it, and Concept will have the staggering blow just to end the fight. But because of that, they brought 4 members bottom. They didn't get a kill. They have to give up pressure over the mid lane. Now Brandon could be getting jumped upon, but the Entangling Roots just so in the way, just preventing any kind of forward play from Team Happy Cloud. Delta just trying to trade a bit. And the Iron Skin will come out from Fuzz, so really no threat there either. Now the healing is going to be coming through from Delta, but without the damage, it's just hard to get any play going. Fuzz is going to get taken down to half HP, but Fuzz just turning around, looking towards Fade. Brandon bringing a lot of damage and will just barely be able to heal back up. Delta and the Well able to keep them safe. But now this bot lane already took down the fort, and the Web Weaver is still pushing. Just so much value coming out of this. As now Brandon and Fuzz just trading back and forth a little bit. Fuzz actually quite low as Delta just getting absolutely obliterated by Brandon. The overkill coming through as well. And now Fade gets stunned into the wall, but hard to start a fight here. And again, the entangling roots, these placements coming out of Cav Kavar have been absolutely perfect. And it's interesting because there have been a few moments where Inting for Globes definitely push a little bit too far with their plays, but it's not too far because those entangling roots completely cover any and all entrances. As now again, Fuzz gonna get jumped upon in the top side, but with the Iron Skin, able to just walk it out. Don't need to worry about CC if you're unstoppable. Now get to watch Hogwow just jumping back and forth, killing these bruiser camps. And this is why I love Hogga. That just looks like so much fun. But they're actually going to be able to take down Cav Kavarn. I genuinely think I missed half the kills this game. But it will be the first kill coming out for Team Happy Cloud. And now they wanted to look for more. They have actually the falling sword coming out of Fuzz, but they're already on to Brandon. The overpower still not going to be up, but with the extra DPS coming out of R275 Delta, it's not going to be needed. Now Fuzz starting to get low as well, and the overpower not in range. Juan Pablo gonna DPS a little bit back. And I've actually only ever seen Planet Cracker, so Purification's helpful. That's the name of that ability. Able to trade back pretty heavily, but not able to get the kill. And I gotta say, it's super like for Inting for Globes that the level 10s were not there for Team Happy Cloud. If they had those heroics, I think they take down even more. But good team fight for Team Happy Cloud. And this is what I was saying over at the start of the game. When I say the Team Happy Cloud, they definitely do have the potential to take some fights, take the games. And they've already taken down game 1. And if they're able to get a couple of those team fights, they could start making a case for why they can even beat Inting for Globes. And now Brandon walking forward, just poking out with that overkill. Now Dragon Arrow will land Apocalypse as well. And Juan Pablo immediately going to get burst down. Falling Sword used by Fuzz. But now it's going to be 4v5. They have the pullback onto Brandon. But with the Odin not going to be pulled back. Fuzz is in the middle of everyone though. And with 5 members, the Condemn lands on 3. And then the Shockwave as well. Crusader able to jump over the wall. Will survive. And now Brandon is the one that's into the wall. But will take down Crusader over in the backline. They have the Drain Hope that they should be able to trade back Brandon. But now it's 3v4. The fight is still going. Concept and Cav Kavar still want to fight. And they have the entangling roots. And Fade just starting to get so low, but is healing back up. The anti-heal coming out of Fuzz as well. This team fight just won't end. Juan Pablo, who started off the team fight and not in it, will be able to use a Purification Salvo and will take down Rob. As now Concept could be in a bad spot, but Delta not healthy enough, definitely not strong enough to push out Concept, and Juan Pablo was there to cover as well. I don't even remember what it was. I believe that was a 2-for-2 with everything said and done. But that was a very long team fight. And now Inting for Globes, they almost have enough gems for turn-in. Concept going to turn in the 16 that they had, as Fuzz currently sitting at 35. But now Brandon could be getting traded upon a little bit. The Entomb will land, but there's no fall. But they do have the Unstoppable coming out from Fuzz with the Falling Sword. Now, with a Temporal Loop, Cav Kavar will get pulled back, but not too much is done because of it. So overall, just an even trade of abilities. No one's going to go down. But Inting for Globes can finally start threatening onto these structures. Juan Pablo not going to get hit by the Apocalypse, as Fuzz able to get the Condemn onto 3. Shockwave as well. And Fade and Rob both going to get taken down. Inting for Globes just playing this so casually. Just bit by bit, they know when they can walk up. They know when they can attack Hog Wild using the backline. And Concept is over there already. Crusader gets zoned away and could be in a bad spot. Will jump over the wall. Juan Pablo trying to trade back a little bit, but with the range, with the help of R275 Delta, not able to keep pushing in forward. So, once again, a good trade for Inting for Globes. They took the mid fort, and now they should be able to get the Web Weaver spawned in as well. I apologize for that. But the top lane fort is available, and the Web Weavers could definitely help pressure this in. But at the same time, they can't ignore the fact that the waves are already shoved in mid lane. They're already shoved in the bot lane. It's going to be a pretty good spot for them to try and play aggressively, even if they don't want to look for the fort. But they're looking towards Juan Pablo right now. The Entomb will keep Brandon in it. But again, just no DPS ready for it. The safety coming out of Cav Kavar is just so high. But now Concept is already pushing in. They're looking towards Concept now. They have the stun, but again, the Hog Wild going to be too powerful, but they have the Temporal Loop. And with the Dragon Arrow as well, they're still not able to find any of those kills. Now Falling Sword gonna land onto the backline. Fuzz in the middle of everyone just buying space. And the Shockwave will land. Hog Wild will prevent the Apocalypse stun, as Fade will be the only casualty so far. But the fight is still ongoing. The push from Inting for Globes is still ongoing. As Juan Pablo takes a full Dragon's Breath combo from Drinking Bird. But the mid lane wall, or the top lane wall, already gone. As Storm Brandon actually going forward, looking for some extra DPS on a Drinking Bird. But will just be able to start pushing in through this top lane keep. I don't think they'll be able to finish it off, but I mean, right now, there's not too much stopping them. I mean, they got good value out of it. Half HP. Rob looking to play aggressively. Has the Entomb. And will spawn in. Will be able to get Brandon and Concept in. But with the Fallen Sword, with the extra Unstoppable, they're just not able to accomplish too much else for it. But now Fuzz gets hit into the back line, and they will be able to take down this Joanna. Temporal Loop onto Cav Kivar. And that's definitely the target you want. Dragon's Breath landing perfectly on Cav Kivar. And that's going to be a 2-0 for Team Happy Cloud. And now they're in an opportunity where they can finally start trading back a little bit. They're going to turn in. It's just going to be Delta that's left that needs to get that last turn in. And that will be the Web Weavers going in for Team Happy Cloud. But as they're doing that, they're looking for more. And they do need more. They're looking for the top lane boss. Now the Web Weavers, especially in this mid and bot lane, their waves are pushed in so far, they might not get too good value from it. But this top lane with the boss, they could definitely look to push things in, as they're still waiting to cap it, waiting for the perfect time. But Brandon and Concept already here on the bot lane, just immediately going to clear out these Web Weavers. And with the Dynamite, with everything else, going to be able to do it pretty quickly. But Brandon and Concept not able to reset. Rob was there to deny it. And now with the Web Weavers here, Fuzz going to get pulled to the backline. Has the Iron Skin, will be okay for now. But that is the Iron Skin already utilized. Fade just slowly but surely getting healed up by Delta, as now they are pushing into this top lane forward. And even having one wave that will not be passively pushing into them, that's going to be pretty big news. But now they have the stun. They have the team fight breaking in. Juan Pablo trying to get away. Will be able to get out. But Crusader actually goes down to Concept. Now the Apocalypse will land. Juan Pablo will go down. It's a 1-for-1 so far. But Brandon in bad spot as well. The Drain Hope has more than enough damage. Now Cav Kavar looks to be the next target. They have the Malfurion. And now it's just Fuzz and Concept left alive. The staggering blow will hit Drinking Bird pretty heavily. And Fuzz will go down. And it's a 4-for-1 in favor of Team Happy Cloud. And they have the boss here. They could keep pushing. They could take down the first keep of the game. Now I think because of the map state, I don't know if they're going to be able to try pushing in forward to try and end the game here. They don't have Crusader, they don't have the Hanzo, but it looks like they want to try. The boss is still at around a quarter HP, and they're just going for it. Team Happy Cloud, will they be able to pull off the upset here? Because right now they're already onto the core. The core's already at 90% HP. Dragon's Breath is dealing so much, and they might be able to do this. They might actually be able to take down Inting for Globes. One more hit, and they've done it. Team Happy Cloud win 2-1 as Inting for Globes falls. And what a massive victory for Team Happy Cloud. That's an absolutely game changer. I mean, they're going to get the 3 points. Inting for Globe still going to get 1. But the team fighting coming out of Team Happy Cloud just looked so good. And with their mechanical prowess, they were able to win a couple of team fights. They were able to keep pushing forward. And they did the Hail Mary play. They got the turn in. They got the boss. And because they got the team fight too in such a resounding fashion, they were able to push it all the way in for the win. And now with that, I'm going to look to get an interview with someone from THC. Give me one moment. Yeah, I'll be looking to get that set up. And while we wait for that, I will remind you this is a double cast today. So in about half an hour, we're going to have Magnitude Aftershock versus Roll1 Esports for Division B West. So be sure to tune in for that as well. Now, I'll still give them a couple minutes. No one's really replied to me quite yet. But yeah, just going to have to wait and see. Getting pinged so much across Discord today. I'm just popular, I guess. But, oh yeah, I should give the points out, Team Happy Cloud won. That's a lot of points won. So, all the Team Happy Cloud believers, you have been rewarded. How much points is that total? That's 2.9 or 4.7k points going to Voriel and 2 others. So there was quite a few believers there.
What's up, Toki?
Hello, hello.
Thanks for casting us.
Yeah, always my pleasure. I mean, this was a perfect game to cast. What an absolute back and forth series. And first off, congratulations. 2-1 victory over Inting for Globes. How does it feel?
Thank you. I felt good. That last game was super rough, but I think the first game we dominated, second game they dominated, that third game it was a rough one, but we pulled it out. Good last fight.
Yeah, sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes, and I mean, tell me about that first game where you said you dominated, and especially with the kills. I think every single team fight you managed to just come out clearly on top. What do you think happened with that? Do you think that double heal comp was just a good counter to what they were trying to do?
I think so. We were also pretty comfortable on it. And Vol is my main, so I always enjoy ripping a good old double heal Vola game where I can just go in and I don't have much fear. Yeah. It worked out pretty well that game. I felt like I was pretty untouchable, except for that one time where I died.
I mean, one death. It's fine.
Yeah.
But either way, yeah, in that game one, I believe you were sitting at 132,000 damage compared to the second place 66. So literally doubling them.
A lot of free damage on the Mura and Maev that game. They just couldn't really deal with me, so always feels good. And my team did a great job healing me, and the Imperious Suns that game were crazy. Yeah, he landed multiple 3 or 4 man suns.
Yeah, Drinking Bird was on top of that. I wasn't surprised to see that get banned away on BOE afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Alongside your Vala, of course.
They did not want us to play those anymore.
Well, my next question. With that victory, it is 3 points. You are now technically tied for 4th place, though Rodney's imaginary friends do have less games played.
Mm-hmm.
How are you feeling? Playoffs are coming up pretty soon. And what do you think about your chances? How far do you think you'll be able to go through with it?
Hopefully we win. I mean, that's always the hope. We'll have to see how we play. We tend to, weirdly, we play like worse against like the worst teams, and we seem to clutch up against the better teams sometimes. So we'll see if that keeps happening.
That would definitely be a good trade to have for those playoffs.
Yeah, when we get there. But I think with this win, we're guaranteed to get into the playoffs. So we'll definitely be in them. So
I'm not sure the math, so I'm not going to be able to comment on that. But I mean, your chances do look good.
Yeah, not sure, but probably. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully we'll be in them. Hopefully it'll be a good time. Playoffs are always a lot of fun. So
I love playoff season. My favorite double time of the year. I don't even know how to word that. But yeah, final question. Is there anything you'd like to say to your fans out there? Any shout outs you'd like to give?
Shout out to you for casting us. We appreciate it. Shout out to the team. They carried me. That last one especially, I was struggling. Especially that last fight, it was rough. Just everyone in HOTS, I guess, that's still watching.